Hello, everyone, and happy World Card Making Day. This is Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations, and I'm so happy to be with you live today. So, thank you if you're here live, and if you're watching the replay, enjoy. Let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get started in just a minute. So happy to be here. I'm going to come over here and see if I see comments, and I have a few things to go over before I get started on our 3 cards of gratitude and me talking to you a little bit about what my idea is for this month and a little bit of next month. So I hope everybody is doing well. It is a beautiful, cool, crisp, sunny day here in Southwest Missouri. I just took a botanical beads class and made a bracelet this morning. Hi, Nan. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll show you that bracelet in a minute. It was very interesting. And I was a little apprehensive because we were working with photopolymer clay. And hi, Lori. So anyway, I'll show you the bracelet in a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about it. And then we're going to get started making cards. So welcome, welcome, everyone. Okay. So my idea, and not just my idea, it's several of us have thought that, what we do as paper crafters and card making and card makers is to share what we love to do with others. And what a better way to express our gratitude to those who serve us, those who mean a lot to us, and just those who we're thankful for. So I hope you will join me in this little movement and use the hashtag creating gratitude if you post something on social media. And we're going to just talk about and create some things to express gratitude. So if you saw my video from Thursday evening, that was October the 5th, we created a very simple gratitude journal, and I'm hoping you are using that. And if you didn't see it, you can find it either on Facebook or YouTube. And it's a very simple little book you can put together with supplies that you have at home. So today, my idea was to create some simple yet beautiful cards that you could make and reproduce many of, if you wanted to send to express gratitude. Hi, Carol and Patty. So I hope you'll join me in doing that. So before we get started in our presentation and our demonstration, let me just tell you a few things going on. First of all, I'm doing these 3 cards today. And if you place an order from me in my online store using the hostess code given there on the screen, I will send you the card kits to create these cards. All you'll need is a sentiment stamp that you can use on the label or die cut that I send you. To go along with that, I had originally said that the cutoff would be Monday night. Well, Stampin' Up! Surprised us with a free shipping special to celebrate World Card Making Day, and that's going to be from Monday, October 9th through October 11th. So if you place that $75 order to get free shipping, you're going to get the free shipping and you're going to get the card kits from me. And the cutoff date will be the end of the day, Wednesday, October the 11th. And I'll be reminding you about that. So be sure you're on my email list and sign up for that. And it'll be, I'm sure, announced several places. So excited about that. So that's for the card kits. And then the free shipping, don't forget about that. Mark your calendars, okay, for that. That's Monday through Wednesday. And then I think that's all. Just know you can screenshot that host code so you can use it when you're shopping with me. And that helps me to acquire gifts and fun things that I can send as thank yous to you, my customers. Okay? All right, let me see if we can get started here. I'm going to flip my screen down. Hi, Diane. Okay, let's get going. So the first card that we're going to make today is this thank you card. And I cased, which means I copied and used the design and lots of the ideas from a swap that I got from my friend Julie Davison at Backstage. And so I wanted to use this. It's using the Garden Walk Designer Series paper from the mini catalog, and it's using this oldie but goodie set that's still in the annual catalog, Color and Contour. So it has some pretty fonts and just images in here that you can use on any card. But I love this. Thank you for everything for this one. So let's get started with that. Okay, so here is how the packet will come if you make a qualifying purchase. I'm using a Calypso coral card base cut at 5.5 by 8.5. And then I have a piece of 5.25 by 4 to put on the inside of the card. 3 basic rhinestones there that you'll use on your card. Whoops. Be careful because those may be hiding somewhere. A 1 3/4 inch punch circle, a piece of garden green 3.5 by 1, and 2 pieces of the Garden Walk Designer Series paper here, cut at 4.5 by 1.5. So you can see very easy and basic pieces. And if you don't have a circle punch, you could use any label or any punch that you have room to stamp your sentiment. Okay, so let's get started with that. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, and a piece of this garden green ribbon that comes in that real red and garden green combo. All right, so here is our card base in Calypso Coral. And we're going to give that a good crease with our bone folder. All right, so now we have these 2 pieces of designer paper cut in these strips. And so I decided to use this floral and then this little brush stripe here. And those are going to be adhered on the front of the card. The floral print is a little higher. Let me move that so it doesn't look so confusing. It's a little higher than the stripe. And this is going to be glued closer to the bottom here. All right, with tucked underneath. So I like to position these on the front of the card before I ever put any glue down, so I can see what I'm going to be working with and how I want them to be positioned. So I'm going to pull up this floral print. I like where this is positioned here. So I've got an eyeball right there where it goes, and I'm going to take some liquid glue and just apply to the back. Look at this pretty floral print on the back of this stripe. Gorgeous. And this is that wild wheat color. That is one of our this year's in colors that I didn't think I was going to like at first, but I love it. It's got that greenish undertone that is just so pretty. So if you're just now tuning in, thank you for watching, and I'd love for you to say hello. All right, so here is this piece. Okay, so I just overlap it just maybe a 1/2 inch or so there, come about a 1/2 inch from the edge and the same amount from the top. Hey, Karen. All right, so let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And pull that up. And I think I like that. So super simple for a card front, right? Now, sometimes when I'm creating cards, I want to do the designer paper that covers the front, basically. But with this, if you're making a stack of cards and want to get the most from your designer paper, don't hesitate to use strips like this to get the job done. Okay. And if you like not leaving this naked, okay, you could always stamp a background stamp on this back here before you ever even glue these. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Like I said, these are simple and easy to duplicate cards for you. All right, next I'm going to take my garden green strip, 3.5 by 1, And that goes about midway here, okay? Just across like that. I've come all the way or almost all the way to the fold. I just don't want it to extend, so I kind of do a hair in so that it looks well, okay? And we're going to take some liquid glue and just put that on the back there and come in. And like I said, I'm leaving just a hair over here to the side. And then give it a good press down and hold it just for a second. Okay? All right. So there we go. Now it's time for our stamping. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to pull in this circle punch. And if you don't have the 1 3/4 inch circle, which is the circle that is, I believe this punch is in the online exclusives, along with a 2-inch circle punch, which to me are must-haves in paper crafting and card making. Okay. And I'm going to get my stamp. I've already have it mounted here. Thank you for everything. Garden green ink. And then I'm going to get my foam mat with a piece of scrap paper over top just to protect the surface. Lay the circle over top. Let's ink up our stamp, just tapping. I was stamping with my granddaughter Mia here just yesterday. They are here for the long weekend, and she was inking up a stamp, and it's like I am guilty of this at times too. I want to press instead of tap, and so that's one thing we want to be real careful of so we don't get ink all over the block or around the edges of your stamp that you're using. Okay. All right. So here, let's go ahead and stamp this just in the center of the circle. Very easy to do. Press and then pick up. And I let my stamp drop. So I'm going to turn over and use the back. I got like a double image there. So use the back when you need to. And stamp. There we go. All right, so now I thought that needed a little bit of jazzing up, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that ink pad out of the way. And in that stamp set are these little splatters, all right? And let me get over here and open up my ink. Calypso Coral, just like our card base. And I decided to just kind of stamp over the sentiment, but I'm going to be doing some stamping off so it's not too dark and doesn't overwhelm the sentiment. So that definitely would be too dark. It's your initial stamp after you ink. It's also called first generation stamping. So I'm going to ink it up again, stamp, and then I'm going to stamp off. Okay, so that's pretty light. Now I'm going to try it a third time to see if I like that better. And I think I do. So I'm going to do 1, 2, third generation stamping or stamping off twice. So I'm inking again, stamp, stamp, and then over. Inking again, stamp, stamp, and then over. Okay, and there you see you get a little bit of a background and add a little color to your garden green sentiment. Okay, now let me close this ink pad up, and I think I need to wipe my hand. Got ink on it, and put this right here. So I center it between these two strips basically. Okay, and just eyeball it. You don't have to measure. Just put some adhesive down and put that just like that. So see, that makes a pretty card and super simple to do. Now I'm going to get some mini glue dots and I'm going to use this to attach my little ribbon knot. So here this is already tied in a knot. I look for the side where I like the way the knot looks a little better than the other. Okay, so this is a little smoother. So I'm going to choose that side and put the the dot on the opposite side of the knot. And then I'm going to come down here, just kind of angle that a bit and give that knot a good press so that it's held down well. Okay, so that card is beautiful just like that, but let's add a little bit of bling. So I have 3 rhinestones, and I chose these so that they're easy to use. You can use them with any color. And I'm going to get my take your pick tool, and I'm going to add one right here and then 2 right here. Okay, so I try to scatter them and put them in a place where it needs something. Okay, so I chose not to put them here because I already have the ribbon. All right, and so I'm going to put these here, 2 down here. I always try to use an odd number, which Mr. Brown always checks me on. And probably the only time I would use an even number is if I had like say I had this on the front of a card, and I would put a rhinestone or gem here and one here if it called for like a balance. But other than that, when I'm doing a scattering, I normally just use 3 or 5. Okay. I notice my screen is freezing a little bit. Just hang in there. It's probably crowded internet or something. I don't know, but I'm here, so just hang with it. Yes, Nan, we got to have the bling, right? Okay, so let me open the card, and all I'm going to do is put this in here. Now, if you don't like a naked card on the inside, you can do some stamping. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Calypso coral and the little splatter, and I'm going to put some first generation splatters in here. I think I'm going to do one up there and one down there. Okay, and then you can write your message of gratitude on the inside. So let's go ahead and put that in there. I'm putting some little dots here and centering it here. And there we have our first card sample. Okay, all right. I love that design. I love the little use of the simple strips of designer paper. You can get a lot of use out of your designer paper that way. And then I have the envelope for you so that it can be ready to send. Okay. All right. Let me put that aside, and we'll go on to our next card. Let me put my Calypso coral away. So at the beginning of the video, I talked about that I had just been to a botanical beads class working with polymer clay. So this is the bracelet that I made. It's a little tight. I think if I were to do it again, I would make my elastic a little bit, but it was a little stressful for me. Like I said, I don't normally work with clay very well, but it was I'm part of this WOW outdoor school program this weekend here near in the state park that our cabin is close to, and we colored these with all natural things from nature that are dried. So these purplish it was supposed to be kind of purple. It's like a little dark lavender. These are crushed dried insects. Okay, hard to believe, but we had to roll them out, crush them, and then work them into the polymer clay so that we could make the bead. Okay, and that you can only find these little insects, and I can't think of the name of them right now, but in South America, Mexico or South America. The blue beads, or can anybody guess what this made this dye of the bead we used for dye? It wasn't dye, it was a natural substance. It was indigo, crushed indigo, and it's a very potent color. And it was powder, and she put a little bit on our piece of polymer clay that uh, was just small and rolled out flat. And then we had to roll it and work in the color to make the color beads. Okay. And then they baked them. We did the whole punching the hole through there and learning how to do all of that and tie it off. And so it was really fun. So I'm glad I took the class. So anyway, okay. Now back to card making. Let me see. I'm going to put this stamp out of the way. Next is this stamp, this card, using the Courage and Faith stamp set from the annual catalog. Okay. And everything give thanks from Thessalonians. Okay. So I used a little bit of the All About Autumn Designer Series paper, one of the metallic sides with that beautiful moody mauve. And let's see. I don't want to forget this part here. Make sure I get it. I'm going to use my dark copper clay to color those rhinestones. Okay. Thank you, Karen. All right. So I'm getting that out. And let me get the rest of the card pieces. Okay. So here is the card kit. We have a card base of Moody Mauve, 5.5 by 8.5. I have a piece of this copper ribbon tied in a bow. This is a piece of Moody Mauve, 4 by 5.25, and it is textured with the, let me get the name right, Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Then I have a 4 by 1 piece of this All About Autumn Designer Series paper. I have a piece of basic white that was cut with these color and contour dies. I have them, they're kind of a mess, but they're all in here. These are a carryover. You can find those in the annual catalog. Or you could cut a piece of cardstock if you don't have the die, like 2 by 3. Okay. I said 3 by 4 here, so you have plenty to run it through the, I was going to say Big Shot, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Excuse me. Then the 5.25 by 4 piece for the inside. And you can see I've already, let's see if I can colored these just basic rhinestones with the copper clay so that I could have a matching rhinestone, excuse me, to go with my card. Okay, I need to take a sip of water. Okay. Felt like I had a spider in my throat or something. Okay, let's go ahead and burnish this to give it a good crease. And then let's, what are we going to do first? Oh, yes. Take the distressed piece. This is cut 4 by 5.25, and that's just going to layer over the front. So when you want to keep your card base pretty, what do I want to say? Coordinating, congruent, just, excuse me, want to keep it all the same color, okay? But yes, you want a little bit more. Take a piece of the same color and use an embossing folder on it, and then use that on the front. Okay. And you could even cut it the same size as the front, which would be 4.25 by 5.5. But I like to cut mine where you have a little border around the edge. All right, next I have this piece of the Designer Series paper cut 4 by 1. So you could get quite a few pieces out of one 6 by 6 sheet. Hi, Pam. It's okay. You could always go back and watch the beginning. We're on our second card. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to go center top to bottom and about a 1/2 inch from the edge of your distressed tile embossed piece. So let's go ahead and put that on here. So you see, these are very simple cards. I wanted you to be able to say, I can do that, and make it. All right. Okay, so there's that. Now we have our scalloped contour die, and we are going to stamp "In Everything Give Thanks" in Moody Mauve. So this is a very monochromatic card. Pull my foam mat back in. And let's put this over top. I have the stamp mounted, and let's go ahead and open up our and ink this up. Okay, so I'm going to go for right in the center. Stamp. Very simple stamping. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to take and we're going to glue this right over top here. Okay, so I'm centering it top to bottom of the Designer Series paper strip. And let me put some glue on this. Just place it just like that. Hold it down a bit. And there we have that. So we're just about finished with our card. So do you all enjoy, I know a lot of you like techniques and lots of layers, but do y'all like simple cards too? Sometimes it's like when I need a stack of cards, I know I have, for card ministry for church, I try to do something that's easy to duplicate and I can do a lot of in a short amount of time. So this bow is going to go right here. Again, I put the dot on the back behind the knot. Okay. And then it's going to go like at an angle on this side. And then I'm going to take these 3 rhinestones, which when I color them, I use the brush tip and I just brush on the outside. I don't press too hard. Yes, sometimes you need simple, Pam, for sure. But you have to agree that these, even though simple, they make a very pretty presentation, I think. Okay, so this, I decided to go here, here, and I'm trying not to get it on too much of a embossed area so that it'll stick. So I'm going to give those a good press. So see, I had the bow down here. I had the designer paper with the copper on this side, so I chose to put the rhinestones up here in this upper right corner. Okay? All right. Now, let's open this up. And we're going to do this. And let's see, what do I want to do on that? Do I want to add anything? Let's see. I have a strip here. Here's a, I think that's the size I need. Let me see. I think I'm going to cut a strip of this to put on the bottom of that basic white. Now this piece won't be in your kit. I wanted to be sure and have enough, but this is one way you can dress up the bottom of your card. So I'm going to cut this at 4, and then I'm going to cut it at 1/2. So you can stamp on your inside. You can leave it plain if you want to, or you can add a simple strip of Designer Series paper that coordinates what you have on the outside. Thank you, ladies. Glad y'all like it. I was very intentional when designing these cards to make them like, oh, pretty, but oh, simple too. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and, all right. There we go. All right, there is our second card. Super simple. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to do a drawing. I'll probably do this one on Monday night. So I'm going to ask a question. So I want to know about how many cards do you make per month? Okay. If you're a card maker, how many cards do you make per month? I'll do a random drawing and I'm going to give a prize. Okay. I'll do the drawing on Monday night. Okay. And remember, you get the card kits with the $50 order by Wednesday, close of the day. So the question here is, okay, for the drawing, how many cards do you make a month? And it doesn't have to be exact. On average, what do you think? How many cards do you think you make? Hello, Deborah. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Patty. Okay, so you can just, if you give me a number, okay, I'll know that you are in the comment section. I know you're telling me how many cards about you make per month. Okay. And you think about, okay, I do about 2 a week, so maybe 8 to 10 a month, just something, a general amount. I'm just curious about how often you create. Okay, so just put it in the comments. 17. Okay, Diane. Yes, Diane, I know you make a lot of birthday cards. Average 12, but sometimes less. 60, Deborah. Woohoo, girl. That's awesome. Wow. That is great. Awesome. Okay, just let them keep coming in and then I'll do a drawing. Okay, I'll have a prize to send out. Okay, I didn't have time to get my prizes together before the video, but yes, let me know. Okay, I'm going to come to our final card here. I'm trying to keep track of them. Right here is this one. Okay, so just super simple. You see the embossed with the falling leaves embossing folder. This was in last year's mini catalog and they carried it over, but it's in online exclusives. You cannot find it in a catalog. It is beautiful. Oh, okay, Patty. Yeah, good. All right, so let's get started with that one. I'm using the sentiment from the Autumn Leaves stamp set. And the paper here is from the All About Autumn, that little 6x6 pack. Okay, so let's get moving on this one. Okay, here is my packet. Let's see what we have here. Let me move this stamp set out of the way. Trying to keep organized. I have kind of a mess. Mia was in here crafting yesterday, so okay. 10. Yes, Pam, I get that. Okay, so I have Cajun Craze, 8.5 by 5.5. All right. And then I have a strip of that All About Autumn Designer Series paper that I used like as a border right here. See it? And that is cut. You can cut it whatever width. This is 3/4 of an inch because I like to have a little bit more area to put glue on, but you could use 1/2 an inch and make your paper go farther. Okay. All right. Then I have the 3 rhinestones that are once again colored with the copper clay. Or you could, no, I think these are with Cajun Craze blend. But you could use the copper clay if you have that because it would go, okay, because of the copper in the paper. Here is that embossed piece with that falling leaves, textured impressions embossing folder. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? Does anybody have this? I bought it last year, but I don't think I used it till this card. It was still in the wrapper. Okay, so that was 5 1/4 by 2.5, and then a strip here of very vanilla 1/2 by 4. I'm just going to line these up in front of me so I don't lose them. This pumpkin piece, I cut that 2.5 by 2.5 inch square, and here I'm going to use it diamond shape. And then this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 that we're going to use to layer behind this. And then the 5 1/4 by 4 piece that's going to go on the inside. So let me see what I'm going to do with this. I think I want to go ahead and do this inside first so I don't forget. So here, what I would do is take one of the leaves, and let's go ahead and take the big one, the big maple leaf, and I'm going to get the vein. I think that's what I'm going to do. And let me get my foam mat. I'm going to mount this maple leaf and also the veins. That fits, right? And then let's take our Cajun Craze. I need to get this out of the way while I do my testing here. This is kind of big, so I'm going to do this. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to stamp off. I need to juice up my my Cajun Craze. Kind of running out of ink there. Oop, I see a little fiber. If you see a little fiber on your stamp from whatever, get it off before you stamp because it will show in the stamped image. Yeah, it's pretty, Nan. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, that's not too dark. And then I'm going to get Early Espresso. And what I do with my other stamp, here it is. Ink this up and just go over top. And that's going to be the inside of our card. Okay. You can, like I said, you can do whatever you want there. I'm going to leave this open because I'm going to need that in a minute. And let's go ahead and put this on the inside of our card. Let's see what y'all are saying. 18, usually make about 30. Oh, that's good, Deborah. You're good, girl. I make quite a few too, but I need to be better about sending. That's why I'm doing this whole creating gratitude movement where we're going to be sending cards. Once you send in your cards, oh, I got ink on it. So what am I going to do? Let's see. There we go. You can write over that. You can always fix it. See my mistake. I should have cleaned my fingers. Y'all know the whole thing. Yeah. Do y'all ever ink up some cardstock that you're working with because of your hands? I was really afraid after doing these beads this morning with that indigo, powdered indigo, that I was going to get have indigo all over my fingers. Okay, here is the embossed piece with that falling leaves embossing folder. Yeah, Deborah, I do too. That's fun. Okay, here's that strip of designer paper, and we're going to line that up where about 1/4 inch shows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of the embossed piece, and then I'm going to line this up, match the top and the bottom. If you ever have a little extra, you can always trim off the end. And there we go. It just sets off this embossed piece from the card base. Okay, you see how you can do that with just a little strip? Deborah, do they still have those thank you stamps? I know for a while they had thank you stamps. I wasn't sure if they still had those. The little first class stamps that said thank you. Okay, we've got that on. Now let's take our designer paper square and our Cajun Cray square, and I'm gonna line this up, and then I'll turn it whichever way is most pleasing to my eye. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this. It's a pretty color, pretty peacock on the back there. That paper's gorgeous, y'all. Super. I don't even know if it's in stock right now. Does anybody know? It's gorgeous. I have a lot of it. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. And what I want to tell you is that the best way to line this up is like try to center it top to bottom. And then this point goes to the edge of the paper. Okay, that's a good way to do it. I wanted as much of this embossed area to show. Hey, Kathy, that's okay. Glad you're here. All right. So let's put this on. And if you're just tuning in, and I know Kathy, this isn't directed to you. If anybody new is here, I asked a question because I'm going to do a drawing for a prize about, I want you to tell me about how many cards you make per month. Oh, that's awesome, Deborah. The thank you with the school bus stamp. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that. And now I'm going to take this strip of, and this might be too narrow. I don't know. It may work. Yeah, it might. Yeah, I think it's going to do it. So I gave you about 4 inches of this in the kit if you place the qualifying order. And the thing about this is that you need a pretty narrow sentiment. So I'm going to give this one a try. So I'm going to ink that up. And we're making simple cards to express gratitude. Let's see if I've got this going. Yeah, it works. Okay, so what I did on this one, and you could do whatever you want to the ends. You could either cut it straight off or banner cut the ends, but I just cut it at an angle on both sides. Bam. And bam. Okay. Looking for my trash can, and it's up here. All right. So now I'm going to glue this one about right here where the top, it's almost close to the edge there. Oh, yes, Kathy. Yep. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put it toward the bottom. And this is the thing. I know that my sentiment is going to go down here. So I wanted my colorful pumpkins where those would show and I wouldn't be covering up. Okay. So there is a method to my madness. All right, so there's that. I mean, can't get much simpler. And if you don't have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or an embossing folder, okay, you can, well, there's so many things you could do. You could stamp on it, but I'm going to show you something real quick here that you could do. If you have a paper trimmer, or a scoring tool, let me get this piece here and show you. I just grabbed a scrap piece of cardstock. So let's say I'm lining this up at 1/4 inch and I'm scoring. Then I'm going to move it over another quarter and score. Oh, I cut. Lisa, let's turn it this way. Try it again. Get that one down there. We won't play with it. Another 1/4 inch. Another 1/4 inch. See what I'm doing? So this is a way that if you don't have an embossing folder, but you have a way to measure and score. Let's see, let me get this here. Okay, so you see what I did there? Look how it's embossed. Okay, so you could take your piece and emboss it with just straight lines. And if you wanted to get energetic there with it, you know, you could go diagonal lines. But that just gives some interest to your cardstock, okay? Without, if you don't have all of the bells and whistles, okay? All right. So let me move this out of the way. Come back over here, and that is not, that's the finished card. I need to add my rhinestones. So these, since I was working with Cajun Craze, I used Cajun Craze blends on these clear rhinestones. But like I said, you could use anything that's brown, like the copper clay, the pecan pie. You could use pumpkin pie. You could use a green, garden green, or mossy meadow. Do we have mossy meadow? Yeah. Just something that goes with your card. So on this one, I'm going bam, bam, and then one down here. Okay. Okay, there is our third card. Let me get all of them up here. Thank you, Pam. So sweet. All right. Here we go. Our 3 cards of gratitude for just some ideas to get you going so that we can send our cards of gratitude. So, you know, my idea is, first of all, to do our gratitude journal, which I have barely started in mine. So y'all can fuss at me. I need to practice what I preach here. So here is the example of my gratitude journal from Thursday night's video. And I have cards here that I've started about who I want to send to. Okay, I'm making an ongoing list. And then this is where I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start this today's Saturday. I'll probably start it tomorrow night. Okay, writing 3 things each day I'm grateful for. And then I'll tell you, I'm going to start sending cards probably mid-month, okay, to my list to express gratitude. And these are just 3 ideas of simple designs that you can replicate, make your own, use your own supplies so that you can send cards to express gratitude. And we will be creating gratitude, right? Okay, who's with me? Has anybody made one of these journals? I know it was just Thursday night, but I'd love to see them. If you go to Ink and Inspiration Since Stampers on Facebook, I have a private group where we can share easily. Okay. Thank you, Deborah. So would love for you to join. You have to answer a couple of questions. That's how I keep out the riffraff. Okay. The trolls and all of that. So, anyway, would love to have you join us there and share what you've made. And we'll get this going. We'll start this creating gratitude movement. So let me see. Let me get myself back out here. So anyway, I hope you will join me. I know if you're here, you love card making, you love paper crafting. So, we need to use that to strengthen relationships, to acknowledge others that do special things or just are a support to us, okay? And just make the little world a better place, one card at a time. We can do it, okay? Y'all have a great weekend and love you guys. Until next time, remember to make a card, send that card, and make a difference. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to answer about how many cards you make per month to be in the drawing. Okay, thank you. Happy World Card Making Day. See you soon. Bye-bye.